Hey guys, it's Matt here, and today I'm doing another episode of Matt Rants. So, today we're talking about the new Nintendo Switch, and we have to ask the question, is this actually happening? So, even though there is some evidence to the contrary, maybe I'll just go against it. So, let's talk about the evidence first, and then we'll get back to the question and my theories. So, is the new Nintendo Switch happening? Now, if you don't know, I've done some videos on this in the past. I was going to do another one, but then some stuff got in the way and I wasn't able to. Basically, there were rumors of a quote-unquote new Nintendo Switch. So, as you guys know, usually around a console, specifically a Nintendo handheld's mid-cycle, although there are some consoles as well that have had some upgrades and revisions or visual changes, usually a console will get changed in some way. It's happened with other companies as well. We had the PS1, ONE, after the PS1, just the number one. We've also had the SNES getting a revision as well. They got one. The NES also got the top loader, so it's not as if this is exclusive to handhelds, but of course, 3DS will not only, or the DS rather, got not just the 3DS, which is technically a different system, but still, got the DS Lite. Also, the 3DS got the new 3DS, and that's kind of where this idea of a quote-unquote new Nintendo Switch is coming from. There was never an actual name for it that was discussed. It was just the name, I believe, that fans had come up with, but there were different specs. There were, there was talk about live streaming, Twitch support, which as someone who now is trying to get on Twitch, that actually would be nice for the Switch. There was also talk about 4K output. I disagree with that, but still, I mean, there was always a potential, so that's what people were talking about for a bit. And again, there were some rumors of it happening. The rumors were odd because I knew it was, at the time I thought, this is going to happen, but I didn't think it would be happening in 2019 because even at the time, it still would have been around 2 years, a little over 2 years for the Switch. And I feel like its life cycle. And I don't think that's long enough for Nintendo to risk everything by releasing another Switch and potentially seeming greedy, a la Sega Genesis 32X CD, and then moving on to another console. That's a lot, I think. So, especially with the Sega Genesis also having the 2 model and even the 3 model. So, that was a lot. But when it comes to the new Nintendo Switch, Reggie Fils-Aimé, and I have this article, by the way, which will be listed in the description box down below, will be linked there. Reggie Fils-Aimé has an interesting quote, and he says, so this article says, when queried about a potential hardware revision, Reggie provided the following statement. Right now, as we go into our second holiday, my focus is making sure the current gray and neon Switch continue to have momentum in the marketplace. You saw systems, whether it's our own or competitive home console systems, utilize that tactic a bit later in the life cycle. So right now, the current execution of Nintendo Switch with the Joy-Con and all of the capabilities, that's our focus right now. Which actually does mean something. And also, I would like to mention as well, he said this, obviously, around the holiday season, specifically December 12th. I know we're a little bit late on the news, but I bring this up only because why would he say this? And this interview was, by the way, with Forbes, so it's not like this was a Nintendo Direct. Why would he say to Forbes, oh yeah, we're totally coming out with a new one, don't you worry. And let's slow down those holiday sales, shall we? Yes, there are some people in the gaming community who would go, oh my god, they're not making any more, and then maybe buy even more as if there's limited stock, even though there isn't. Still, though, even though there are people like that, at the scalpers or just general people who get a little bit nervous when stuff like that comes out, potential news like that, still, it's just, I mentioned this when Reggie shot down the idea of an N64 classic. I did a Matt Rants on that. I said, why would he randomly announce that there would be one to Forbes? Isn't that odd? I feel like that would be a little bit odd. So in this case, also, although I forgot who he did an interview with at the time, but in this case with Forbes, it's like, yeah, why would he mention there's a new Nintendo Switch? Not just because why would you do it at Forbes instead of during a direct, but also why would they try to shut down potential sales? Because if I knew there was a new Nintendo Switch on the way, I wouldn't have bought my current Nintendo Switch. I just bought one for Cyber Monday. I talked about that during a GameStop video, recent GameStop Matt Rants about GameStop stock not looking too good. And I bought that one. Not going to go into the whole story, but I bought it on Cyber Monday through GameStop because there was a sale. It was get a new Switch and get a $50 gift card. So I wouldn't have done that though, and that would have been less money in Nintendo's pocket for a new Nintendo Switch down the line, even if it was going to be next quarter, which it would not be. But even if it would be next quarter, so early 2019, they still want money this holiday season. They want money for this quarter. So Reggie's not going to do that. But Either way, though, he still had some more to say, so let's talk about that right now. He says, "We're feeling confident in our momentum, and it's not just a stellar launch of Pokemon, it's not just what appears to be a stellar launch for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That Black Friday through Cyber Monday timeframe was critically important to us. The remaining shopping days now through Christmas are critically important to us. More days right after Christmas as consumers received gift cards or take unwanted gifts and monetize into things like Nintendo Switch are important to us. So this is going to be an ongoing effort to make sure that we drive our business forward through the balance of this holiday season, but also the first calendar quarter as well." Even though the Wall Street Journal, actually, that's the one I didn't talk about. When the Wall Street Journal reported a new Nintendo Switch hardware revision could go on sale in the second half of 2019, I still feel like look, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, that there isn't a hardware revision that they're working on. I'm sure there is, because we've talked about those Nintendo Switch hacks and those mods that people were making, and it's due to hardware limitations, not software limitations, because you can always patch out software, but when it comes to hardware that is easily hackable or easily moddable, I say easily, not just to you and I, the general public, but to those who are in those hacking and modding communities, yeah, you're gonna have a situation where Nintendo's probably like, we should make a revision soon-ish, but they don't want to make it too soon, nor they want to announce it around a time of the year that people are just going to not buy a Nintendo Switch, or not buy games for a Nintendo Switch, or there's this perception of being greedy that companies have. I'm not saying that some companies can't be, of course, but just this idea of being greedy that I'm sure Nintendo does not want. There's a lot of goodwill with the Switch, and Nintendo knows this. Like, there's been a lot of goodwill from the Nintendo Switch, how you can just take your console on the go, or you can play it at home if you like. It is such a great console from what I've played thus far of Smash and a few other games as well. I'm really enjoying it, right? I'm enjoying it a lot. But that goodwill could easily go away if the tide turns with the general public, because someone just bought a $300 Switch for little Timmy, little Jimmy, little Sarah, and then all of a sudden there's another $300 or more Switch placed down in front of you. It's something that even if people like myself would want to buy it, especially if there was Twitch support, I'd actually be upset. I'd be like, I guess I'm gonna buy it. But at the end of the day, I just feel as if they're going to wait on this a little bit, and that's probably why Reggie said this, but I don't think that this is not going to happen at all. So the question, of course, we come back to that question, is this going to happen? Yes. In my opinion, yes, it's going to happen. Now, I know you might be like, Matt, that's a cop-out if you're putting any time frame on it, but still, I just think that it would be silly to say that the Nintendo Switch, this iteration would never create some other type of new Nintendo Switch or some type of mid-life cycle upgrade / update, but to say that it's going to happen so soon, and some people are even saying, it's going to happen soon because the Switches are selling well, which is odd to me, because you would think you'd want more Switches to sell well. Like, if you announce a new console, your old one, at least again to the general public, is immediately thrown away. It's immediately just chucked out the window. Now, I know that might seem silly to some of you guys, especially some collectors out there, or people who've just had these consoles for a long time, even if it's just by accident at the end of the day. You're not actually trying to outwardly collect stuff. You're just like, wait a minute, how did I get 10? I have 15 consoles? When did that happen? Which can happen from time to time. Still, the point, though, is that for some of us, we're like, wait a minute, but why would someone just throw away that console? But you have a lot of families who tell their kids, I'm sure this may have happened to a lot of you guys when you were younger, hey, you want to buy that new console, you want that new thing, whatever that new thing is, sell the old thing. So, sell the old console to buy the new console. The new console isn't backwards compatible, then sell all of your games, right? Give all, 80 of your games to GameStop, and I'm sure they'd give you a crisp penny. Very crisp, very clean penny. But still, all jokes aside, that's what, parents do for their kids. And it's, even though we love these game consoles, we're not the only market for these. There's obviously a much bigger market that all they do is they buy stuff either for themselves or for their kids or for loved ones, cousins, nieces, nephews, whomever. But at the end of the day, you announce that new console, you announce that new system, the old one might as well be dead to them. they might as well just sell it just to get the new one. So that means that if they're going to sell their old one to get the new one, no one's going to be buying new ones. So they definitely don't want to mess up the situation at this point. I think that they're trying to be, I'm not going to say coy necessarily, or play coy, but at the same time, I'm sure they're developing some stuff behind the scenes. I mean, what company isn't trying to develop things and innovate stuff behind the scenes? I think this is just one of those times where, because we're in the year 2018 going into 2019, it's so much easier to access this versus, the 80s, pre-YouTube, for some of the younger fans out there. Yes, there was a time pre-YouTube. Pre-YouTube where, and pre-social media, general media cycle, the news hype that we have nowadays, that there was just a time when when something came out and you were like, whoa, what's this? Instead of knowing almost every single thing about it, whether or not it was leaked or official by a company. So, yeah, I think that this definitely is going to come out, just not anytime soon. But maybe you disagree with me. I would love to hear what you guys have to say down below. Also, if you liked the video, please remember to like and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, you can still like and subscribe either way. You can hate watch. That's fine. I won't judge you. So, love you all. Take care. Tune in next time for another episode of Matt Rants. Alright, guys. So, see ya.